What up, YouTube? It's your boy Anime Specialist. So this episode was really good, man. I didn't expect it to be that good. But before I talk about this episode, I just want to say that I've read a Black Clover chapter about last week's episode, and I'm just gonna say that the anime didn't do the manga chapter justice, because when Asta transformed and when he used Black Hurricane, it looked really good in the manga, but the anime didn't do this moment justice, so that's the only thing that I wanted to talk about. But yeah, man. Mimosa was restrained by Soul's Earth magic pretty easily. It was a pretty easy spell that Soul made to restrain Mimosa, but it's all good. I just want to say that Asta is pretty smart. When he knocked out Mimosa's brother, he let one of his sword on him, so that I think he can't use his magic, because the anti-magic sword just absorbs his magic and everything. So that was a really smart thing to do. Anyway, it was still Asta's team versus Magna's team, and at the beginning of the episode, we saw Mimosa fighting Soul, and Magna's team had a pretty interesting strategy. They had their crystal inside of one of Soul's Earth Golems so that it would be protected, so that was a pretty interesting strategy. But yeah, like I said, Soul and Mimosa were fighting against each other, and Mimosa had a pretty interesting strategy too. So that we're gonna talk about at the end of the episode. But man, the animation and art was pretty good for the major part of the episode. You can see it when Magna uses his fire magic. You can see his actual fire moving. So that's how you know that the animation is going to be kind of crispy. So that's what I liked about this episode, the animation and art. Even though there were some moments where it wasn't really good, for the major part, for the best parts of the episode, I think it was really good. So we saw Magna use two new spells in this episode. The first spell was using his fire magic on his feet to run faster. I think that's the first time that we've seen him do that. And the second spell is making his fireballs disappear. So that was quite interesting. It was hard for Asta to figure out at the moment, but yeah, man, that is the two new spell that we saw Magna use, and they were really cool. I don't really know how Magna's new spell, where his fireball disappears, works. So if some of y'all know, let me know in the comments down below. But like I said, it's pretty interesting, man. I don't know how it works, but it worked against Asta. He almost destroyed Asta, Mimosa, and Zora's crystal, so he was pretty close. So there was no flashback in this episode, and I really like what Black Clover is doing in this tournament. Every time every time that we are introduced to a new character, a really important character, they flash back to what they were before, and how they became what they became. So that was really interesting to see how Mimosa's brother was since they were kids. It's not really Kurt's fault that he's like that. He was born into a noble family. He thinks that he's better than everyone else. But at the same time, Mimosa is her little sister, and she's completely different. She sees some good into quote unquote the peasants. She sees that she's not really better than them. So we saw why she thinks like that. We saw it in the flashback and everything. So I thought it was pretty cool to see them as younger kids, and how they thought when they were kids and how they are now. And it just showed how compassionate Mimosa is compared to her brother, even though he kind of changed in this episode. We also got a backstory for Saul. She was a pretty different person. She had the same personality, but her hair was longer. She dressed different. She didn't show as much skin and everything, but yeah, but she was a pretty different person. But her backstory was the typical I want to become stronger story. Her village was attacked while the man that was supposed to protect the village was not there. Like I said, it was attacked by bandits, and they kind of captured her, and she wasn't strong enough. She was saved by Charlotte, the captain of the Blue Rose, and that's why she wanted to join the Magic Knights. To become stronger, to be able to protect her loved one. So that was a typical backstory. That was a that was pretty generic, but I liked it. See her younger, in her village and everything. That's the first time that we've got something from Soul. We didn't really know who she was. We only knew that she called her captain Sis, and that she was part of the Blue Rose. It's kind of funny that she calls Charlotte sis because she didn't remember her name at the time. I don't know if she still don't know Charlotte's name, but it's kind of funny to me that she's still calling her sis. Anyway, Asta was able to buy Zora some time. So Zora, what he did was put one of his magic circle on the crystal so that it could protect it. So it kind of copied Magna's attack and repelled it on him. So that was pretty smart. And then he did something that I didn't know was possible. He was able to put one of his magic circle in midair to kind of attack and restrain Kurtz, so that was pretty interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think that Magic Circle Magic or Ash Magic was gonna be that good, I thought that it was a pretty generic power, but it seems like it's really something else, man. It's pretty strong, so I'm sorry. I apologize to Zora because I thought that his magic was, pretty weak, pretty generic, but anyway. Asta was able to knock Kirch out a second time, and when Zora said that it was kind of embarrassing for Kirch, I was thinking the exact same thing in my head. I was like, damn, he's getting knocked out by Asta again, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, Mimosa had a pretty interesting strategy. She put one of her seed magic in Soul's golem so that it can grow and then paralyze the golem. So she said that it was gonna take some time and it took the whole episode to work, but it was worth it, man. Like I said, man, in the last few review I've said it, Mimosa has become one of my favorite characters. She's not useless, she does things. She can heal, she can attack, she can do a spell like that takes time but are pretty worth it, so I really like this episode, man. So obviously Asta still won, but it was a pretty rewarding win in my opinion. This fight took 2 episodes. I didn't think that it would take 2 episodes. I think it was gonna take like 1.5 or something like that, but it was a really good fight in my opinion. The animation and art was on point for the most of the episode, and I really liked the strategy of Mimosa, just seeing Asta versus Magna and seeing Zora in action. Zora was doing something pretty weird at the end of the episode. He was not taking shots at Magna's team, but he was kind of giving advice to them. So that's a first, man. At first, he didn't really care about his opponents. Maybe it's because he saw how strong they were and everything, but he was actually giving advice. So I don't know what his agenda right now. I hope that we discover it soon. But yeah, man, it was pretty weird. But anyway, man, let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below. Like I said, for the most part of the episode, the animation and art was pretty good. I really like how they fought. I really like their strategy. And yeah, man, I do Black Clover reviews every Tuesday, so subscribe for that. It seems like in next week's episode there's gonna be a Finro versus Langris, so I'm hyped about seeing this. I know that Langris is gonna win because he's not much powerful. I really want to see him and his magic and everything, so stay tuned for that. I do other anime related content like Kimetsu no Yaiba Demon Slayer on Saturday and One Piece reviews on Saturday. I think I'm gonna stop doing fairy tale reviews on Saturday now. So my man, it's kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. I'm maybe going to do reviews for the most important episode. But yeah, man. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Anime Specialist out. Peace.